Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show. It is Tuesday, April 1st, and we are back with our minor league updates that we are going to be trying to put out every Tuesday during the season. Now, that said, I say every Tuesday, and next Tuesday I'm going to be on vacation, so we're not going to be doing next week. But after that, it should be every Tuesday for the rest of the season. We'll put out the minor league updates. For those of you that enjoyed them last season, hope you're going to enjoy them again this year. We're going to keep kind of the same format. For those of you that are newer to the channel, didn't see him during the season last year, every Tuesday I like to put out a weekly update, kind of what happened down in the minors the week prior. The primary focus is usually going to be on guys that are on like the top 30 list. And then I try and pull out like a few different standout guys. I'll tell you guys what I'm seeing down there. I don't just like pull the box scores. I like to watch almost all these games. So I like to give kind of my feedback on what I'm seeing out of each guy. And then I'll kind of mention how the teams are doing as well. I usually like to share their records. So we're going to get those going again starting today. The River Cats played this last weekend. They'll be playing during the week. And the other affiliates, the San Jose Giants, Eugene Emeralds, and Richmond Flying Squirrels, their seasons all start this coming Friday. I think it's April 4th. So they'll be going over the weekend. Like I said, no show next week, but the following week we'll get back at it. I'll probably just talk about the previous 2 weeks when I get to that one. But this will be a short one today because it's just the one affiliate to cover. For the River Cats, I do usually expand it, not just the top 30. I'll usually include a few other guys that, I feel might be able to contribute to the major league roster at some point during the season. So we'll talk about those guys as well. But starting out with the River Cats, they went 2-1 versus Albuquerque, which is the Rockies AAA affiliate. The main takeaway from the River Cats in general is their rotation is really good. It actually got highlighted by Baseball America as potentially one of the best rotations in any minor league affiliate level anywhere in the majors, which is promising. So they have a lot of young arms knocking on the door that can contribute probably this season. Some of these guys you might not see till next season, but they've got a lot of them that are right there ready to help. And a lot of these guys are already on the 40-man, and some of them already have major league experience, some more than others. Guys like Harrison, Sean Jelly, Tristan Beck have had like full seasons. Other guys, Trevor McDonald has made one start and things like that. So starting off with them, number 2 prospect, Marco Luciano. Now, these rankings are based on Baseball America's rankings, so I usually keep that in mind. But number 2 prospect, Marco Luciano, he went 1 for 9 with a home run and 2 walks this past week. I would say look past the numbers because there were a few things that I saw out of Marco that were really promising. The first thing, the at-bat quality in general. Those of you that have heard me talk about Marco in the past, my biggest complaint in the last few years at the plate has been he was one of the most passive hitters I've ever seen. And the idea was he needs to get more aggressive, but he also kind of needs to do that without sacrificing his plate discipline. And he did a good job of that this past week. He only struck out 2 times in 11 plate appearances. He only had the 1 home run to show for it, unfortunately, but he did hit a lot of balls hard, including a ball that he hit 113.5 miles per hour on Saturday. That ended up, I said if he hit it like 2 miles per hour softer, it would have been a hit because he hit it into right field and just kept carrying, and the center fielder was able to get to it, or the right center, I mean. To me, the at-bat quality is a lot better. So if you continue that, if he continues doing what he's doing right now, I would imagine the results are going to follow. Now, as far as his play in left field, fine. It wasn't anything to write home about. He made the routine stuff. Didn't really die for a ball that kind of sliced down the line in left field on one. He's never going to be a plus defender. Like he's. I think the hope is that he's just passable and someone that you can just live without in left field, and he's not going to kill you. We're talking about a team that for almost their entire 2010 World Series played Pat Burrell in left field. For their 2012 World Series, at times played Aubrey Huff in left field and Brandon Belt in left field at various times in the season. And then during 2014, the majority of their season, Michael Morse was their left fielder. So you can get away with poor defense in left field. So I think your just hope is just he's passable at some point. But the bats or the bat is really what matters. And I like what I've seen, even though the numbers haven't followed. Number 3 prospect, Carson Whisenhunt, went 4 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, threw 65 pitches, 49 of them for strikes. Command looked pretty good. He kind of, it was almost as advertised with Whisenhunt. The fastball is a plus fastball, especially playing off his changeup. And his changeup is one of the best pitches in baseball. Like, it's that good. It is, depending on the, who's rating it, it's either an 80 grade changeup or a 70 grade changeup. A 70 grade changeup is elite. Like that is viewed as an elite pitch. If you're giving it an 80 grade, that's generational. And there are publishers that have given his changeup an 80 grade. It's that good. And that's why, to me, his floor is basically a dominant reliever, because if hitters are only going to see it once and for one inning, he could be dominant. As they see him multiple times, that's where, he kind of needs to develop a third pitch. He threw a slider a little bit in this game. It maybe a tick better than it was last year. I know they tracked the velo and it was a couple ticks harder. We'll see how that develops. He really just needs a show pitch, something he can show 15, 20% of the time max. And then he's going to throw his fastball changeup most of the time. And I mean, his changeup generates whiffs at a near 50% rate. It's so good. So good to see out of him. Overall, pretty solid. Command, a little spotty at times. That's been his struggles, the command and the lack of a third pitch. So we'll see how that progresses throughout the year. But overall, it was really encouraging start. Number 7 prospect, Grant McCrae, 4 for 11, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Plus, he actually threw out a runner at second base on a ball that was hitting to right center field. I'll be showing that on the highlights here. Overall, the thing for me, the power is there. He didn't have any extra base hits in this weekend series. We all know he's got some pop. We all know he's a blazing speed. To me, the thing to monitor all year is going to be the strikeouts. 3 strikeouts in 13 plate appearances. It's like 23%. That's solid. That's the hope is I want to see it sub 25% in AAA this season. That is what I'm hoping to see out of Grant McCrae. So great start for the year for him. Number 19 prospect, Wade Meckler. He had a really nice couple games, 3 for 5, double, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases. And unfortunately, he got injured stealing second on a play. And at minor leagues, we haven't gotten any updates. The only thing we've seen is he went on the 7-day IL. Victor Barracoto was called up to the Sacramento roster, and it didn't look good. He walked off the field, but I don't know if he injured his hip, groin, lower body of some kind, but he was swearing quite a bit coming off the field and looked like he was in a lot of pain. So really unfortunate for him. I mean, he can hit. He actually showed. I've kind of bagged on his lack of power at times. He hit a ball, his double. He hit 103.2 miles per hour into left center. And I think it one hopped the wall off the warning track. And that's the kind of stuff that it does give me some hope out of his bat, because as of right now, he's kind of, he lacks the power to really be an everyday player, especially in a corner outfielder, because you can't put him in center field. Like that's a problem for him. So he does need to show a little bit more pop. And frankly, defense is his biggest question mark. If he can get playable in the outfield, you might be able to use him as a bench player. And he could actually be a pretty valuable bench player. I've been pretty adamant about that as a pinch hitter, pinch runner late in games. I think he could be super valuable in that situation. But we got to see how the injury, plays out. He's on the 7-day IL, but that doesn't really mean much in the minor leagues. 7-day IL could turn into a 3-month injury. You just don't know. And they are terrible about sharing the information. So number 24 prospect, Carson Seymour, had a really nice outing. 4 innings pitched, no earned runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts through 59 pitches, 40 of them for strikes. Pretty, like I said, pretty dominant. Fastball looks good. Curveball's really good. Last season, he struggled with command at times. We'll see how he does this season. He was a bit, very, very much a roller coaster last season. A lot of up and downs. It's one start. I can't wait to see more. They did add him to the 40-man. So he's, a guy that is on the table to get called up at any point if they need someone to fill in a start. So Some nice potential, nice outing out of him. So we'll just kind of see how the season goes from him. I did skip Trevor McDonald, the number 8 prospect. I'm going to circle back to him. 4 innings pitched, no earned, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts through 51 pitches, 29 for strikes. Struggled with his command at times, but pretty nasty stuff. I've always said I have questions about him as a starter, kind of due to his arm motion. I feel like it's he'll deal with a lot of injuries if he's thrown if they overuse him. So I've always kind of said his future is probably in the pen. Maybe it's as a longer reliever, but he's got nasty stuff. I mean, not high 90s fastball, has a pretty good wipeout slider, curve, whatever you want to call it. That it gets guys to chase and look pretty ugly doing it. And really good arm. He had a taste of the majors last season, last day of the year through 3 innings. I think 9 up, 9 down, or maybe he only gave up 1 base runner. Was really good in that game. Wouldn't be shocked to see him in the majors at some point this season. He's also on the 40-man already. Kyle Harrison down in sack right now. 4 innings pitched, an earned run, 4 hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts through 61 pitches, 38 for strikes. Honestly, it was much of the same that we've seen out of Kyle. I wasn't overly impressed. Yes, the numbers are good. I'm not going to sit here and say he was bad. He wasn't bad at all. He was really solid in this outing. Problem is his next step in his development, he needs a secondary pitch that he can get whiffs on, and he needs to tighten his command. And the fastball command, it was a bit spotty at times. It still feels like he's up there kind of spraying it, but he can throw it by people. And that's never been the question with Kyle. So I'm not trying to like poo-poo on his outing, but it's not, we all know he can throw his fastball by guys. And it was the velocity was up a little bit. It was 94.8, I think is what it topped out at in the game. So up a little over a mile an hour, probably from last season. It was good. The fastball looked good. It almost always looks good. Even when he was playing it at 91, 92, he was throwing it by guys, especially up in the zone. But he has to get a second pitch. I don't know if that's going to be a splitter, a better changeup, different grip to his changeup, a gyro slider, tightening up the slider he currently has with a little more horizontal movement that, something sharpening with a sharper break that will tunnel off his fastball. He's got to develop something, because if all he ever has is this fastball, it's going to cap his ceiling. And then at some point, he's going to have to tighten the command. If he just fixed his secondary, though, the command he could probably get away with to an extent. But both of those things didn't look any better than I've seen in the past out of him. So for me, I want to see development out of him. So I'm not trying to be too hard on the guy. It's just that's what I'm seeing down there. Brett Wisely, 3 for 10, a double, a walk, 4 strikeouts. He's been really good in Sacramento in the past. I expect that to probably continue. Hunter Bishop went 2 for 11, a double, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and a stolen base. I'm kind of including him as if he puts it all together, he finally had a fully healthy season last season. If he stays healthy again this season and puts it together, he's a guy you could see potentially make an impact at some point. Kind of not hold my breath anymore at this point on him. He's 26, but it's very clear the tools are still there. The ball still explodes off his bat at times, and it just we'll have to wait and see on that one. Brett Arbach had a really nice week. He was the best player on the team. 5 for 11, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, a walk, a strikeout, stolen base. He kind of plays all over the place. Former 40th round pick back in 2018 by the Rockies. He just didn't really do a ton in the minors. And then last season, when he got the call up to AAA, he hit like 280, played pretty well. This season, he's off to a hot start. Maybe a guy that could be a utility guy down the road. We'll see. But got a nice little bat. He's like 5'8". He's not a big guy. I mean, pot calling the kettle black. I'm 5'6", so I can't really judge there. But he, it was good to see. He's got some juice in the bat though for a smaller guy. So, Tristan Beck went 2 innings, no earned runs, a hit, a walk, strikeout. Was really solid for all of you that have listened to the channel for a long time. I'm really high on Tristan Beck. For my money, I'd have had him in the pen over Spencer Bivens. That's me. Sean Jelly went 2 innings, no earns, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. For a guy that probably felt like he was almost a lock for a bullpen spot this season and didn't get it. Those are the kind of outings that are going to get you noticed real quick. I don't expect Bivens to get moved anytime soon. I get the impression from some of the comments from Buster and Manassian and those guys that they do believe in some continuity, and I don't think they're going to want to do the roster churn like Zaidi did. So I think a lot of these guys are going to have some time and patience, but if we get a month into the year or so and they're still struggling, you could see a move. So keep an eye on, especially guys like Beck and Jelly. I would keep an eye on them. And LaCasey threw 2 shutout innings as well. I don't have the exact line, but I know he did throw a couple shutout innings. So if they decide to go with a lefty, that's another guy to keep an eye on. So that's what I have for this week. We will talk the Giants. I'll probably put out a video either tomorrow or Thursday talking just Giants, we actually are kind of on the fence on our live show if it's going to be on Thursday or Friday, because I'm going to be going on vacation for next week and we're leaving Saturday morning, like super early. So I might decide to do the live show on Thursday. So just stay tuned for that. But appreciate everybody stopping by. Go Giants, and we'll catch you next time.